Small steps cross rivers. Maybe you think the path disappears the moment you feel alone. Maybe you believe courage is loud and hope walks fast. Listen, some journeys begin with one quiet step you are afraid to take. Once a young deer lost his way in the forest. He was small, not yet a year old, and he loved his mother the way a heartbeat loves the chest. Then danger came. A lion roared, branches snapped, dust rose, and the herd exploded into running. When the noise fell away, the little deer stood in a field of dry grass with no mother beside him. He looked left, he looked right. Trees stood like strangers. Wind moved the grass in tired waves. No answer came. He tried to call, but fear made his voice thin. His legs shook. His belly was empty. He lay under a bush as the light bled from the sky. Night arrived with yellow eyes in the distance and ugly laughter that belonged to hyenas. A deer pressed his body into the dust and wished himself smaller than fear. He slept in pieces. Morning found him alone. The sun warmed the leaves, but not his heart. He remembered his mother's small sentence, the one she tucked into him the way a bird tucks a twig into a nest. Don't give up. Even when you are alone, there is a way forward. He stood, he swayed. He took a step, then another. The forest was quiet in the way a big room is quiet when no one will answer you. He searched for food and found none. He searched for a sign and found only the map of his own tracks. Then he heard water. He followed the sound to a river that moved fast, swollen and bright, a ribbon of muscle cutting the land in two. On the other side the grass was green. It looked soft, safe, full of the kind of silence that does not hurt. Between him and that promise rushed a cold, strong current that did not care about small deer. He sat by the bank with his hope in his mouth. A monkey appeared on a low branch and shook the leaves with laughter. You can't cross, the monkey called. You are too small. Go hide, little deer. The words were light as leaves and heavy as stones. The deer lowered his head. He wanted to cry. He wanted to sleep and wake in his mother's shadow. He wanted the river to turn into a path. Then another sound, softer than the river, touched the air. A slow rustle, step, pause, step. An old tortoise came along the bank, back rounded like a worn hill, legs steady as clock hands. He did not look at the deer, he did not speak. He moved the way rivers move under ice, slow, certain, not interested in applause. The tortoise reached the edge, studied the water, and turned toward a fallen tree that lay across the river like a thin bridge. He placed one foot on the bark, tested, and climbed. The wind shifted. The trunk sighed. The tortoise kept going. One step, then another. He did not hurry. He did not stop. The deer stood. He felt the old line in his ribs again. There is a way forward. He walked to the start of the fallen tree and looked down. Water slapped the trunk and dragged at the air. His legs wanted to run back to the bush where fear had a place for him. He looked at the tortoise. The old walker did not turn, but he blinked once, slow and calm, as if to say, choose your next step, not your whole life. The deer set one hoof on the trunk. It wobbled. He pulled it back. He breathed. He tried again, this time placing his weight like a promise he meant to keep. One hoof, then the next. The tree moved. The river shouted. He froze. The tortoise lifted another foot and kept his rhythm. The deer copied the rhythm. Step, breathe, step. He did not look at the far bank. He looked at the next place to put his foot. Wind pushed, but he lowered his body and found balance the way grass finds the ground again after it bends. Halfway across, fear rose like a second river. The deer thought of the monkey's voice, the hyena's laughter, the empty night. He also thought of his mother. He saw her eyes that held both warning and comfort. He let those eyes be his rope. One more step. One more. The tortoise reached the far bank and slid off the tree with a soft thud. The deer kept going until earth found him. His legs folded with relief. The river kept roaring behind him, but it sounded different now, like a story that had already been told. The other side was everything it had promised. Green grass, cool shade, water that waited in quiet pools. The air smelled like safety. Kind animals grazed without watching the edges every second. The tortoise moved to the base of a tree and rested there, his breath deep and even. He did not speak. He did not need to. The deer understood the sermon without words. Not every guide will shout. Some will simply go first. He ate, he drank. He lay in the grass and let his small heart learn a new beat. He was not back in his mother's care. He was not suddenly big and brave, but he had crossed. He had chosen a step when there was only fear to stand on. Days later, the deer often looked at the fallen tree and the river that once seemed to be the whole world. He thought about the monkey and wondered if the monkey had ever crossed anything. He thought about the tortoise and understood that hope is not a trumpet. It is a drum you can barely hear unless you put your ear to the ground. It keeps time, it says, again, again, again. Here is the lesson, clear and strong enough for anyone who feels small. There will be days when you are lost. There will be nights when the noises are against you and the road gives you nothing. People will laugh. Some will tell you to hide. The way forward will look thin as a tree over a river. Walk anyway. Do not argue with the water. Do not wait for the wind to stop. Look for the steady life beside you, the person who moves in quiet courage, the one who keeps a small promise every day. Watch how they place their feet, match their pace. Choose the next step, not the whole path. Do not give up, even when you are tired, even when your chest says no and the world agrees. Hope is not loud, it is small and stubborn. It moves slowly, but it does not stop. If you keep walking, you will cross. On the other side there is green. On the other side there is water, and rest, and a peace that does not shout. You will find out that the bridge was not only a tree, it was also your will. If this story gave you a reason to take one more step, stay with us for more simple, true-hearted tales. Consider subscribing, and share it with someone who needs a quiet reminder that hope can be slow and still strong.